Okay, sorry. Can we hear me, please? Can anyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so have you been able to download the SQL Server and SSMS on our systems?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me a minute. All right. So can someone, I know Mr. Dominic did introduction to SQL for us, and can you just share with us what you understand by database, relational database, and what you think SQL is all about and what it's used for? Anybody wants to share that? Mata, welcome. Priscilla, welcome. Pris, welcome as well. Can we hear me? Okay, so I have to call somebody. Read one. You want to share what you understand by database? Are we here? Can anyone hear me, please? Am I disconnected? Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, please. Who wants to share? Or you don't have an idea what database is or what SQL is all about, what it's used for? Anybody wants to share? Just say something. Don't make me feel
Yes.
like the past few weeks within SQL is not is you didn't get anything. So just who wants to share?
Okay,
Any
ma'am. So
okay.
what I understand by database is it's just like a collection of data for easy retrieval and manipulation of data.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing that. Martha, you want to share what SQL is? What is it used for? Okay, I think Martha is not here. What about you, Prince? Are you there? Can Prince hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, so you want to
Yeah,
share what
so
SQL is? Okay.
yeah, on simple terms, SQL simply means structured query language, which is
Okay.
used to store or retrieve data.
Yeah. To store or retrieve data from database. All right. Thank you very much. Anybody wants to share what a relational database is? Paul, are you there? Can Paul hear me? Okay, so I guess Paul is not there. Nobody wants to share what the relational database is, but it's okay. Let's just run through this, then we'll go to the practical session ASAP after this one. Okay, so what is a database? I'm sure Dominic already has done justice to introducing us to, I think, our first class. It was just introduction to database, SQL, and the likes. I'll just quickly run through this. A database is a structured collection of data stored electronically for easy access, management, and retrieval. So just think of it as, you have when we have a library, you have different books stored in different sections. You have a book for mathematics, I mean section for math book, math textbooks. You have a section for English book, English textbooks, like that. Everything being organized where you have data stored in a structured manner. That's the database. A good drive can be seen as a database where you have all your files stored. Even the phone contacts, the contact on your phone, where it's saved, is a database that saves the names, the phone numbers, and emails in a structured way. So when we bring that into SQL, what is a database in SQL? A database in SQL is an organized collection of structured data that allows efficient storage, retrieval, and management of information using SQL commands. So just think of it as a container that contains every of your tables, not just tables, different objects, or your tables which stores related data in either rows and column. So what is relational database? A relational database organizes data into tables that are connected by relationship. So think of it like different sheets in an Excel file that are linked together. For example, if you have two data sets on two different sheets, you have one that contains orders, you have one that contains customer. So if you want to link both together, remember how I taught you fact tables and dimension tables, how that you use the primary keys on the dimension tables and link them to the foreign keys in the fact table. So there has to be a common feed that would link both tables together in that database. So examples of RDBMS, relational database, we have MySQL, which Dominic taught you guys. It is mostly used for websites like Facebook and Twitter. Then we have PostgreSQL, popular for analytics and reporting. We have Microsoft SQL Server, which is the one we'll be doing today, we're starting today, used by enterprises to store business data. We have the Oracle database, often used in the banking and finance industries. So these are the examples of relational databases that we have. The next thing to move on to is what is SQL? Just like what Prince explained, how that SQL stands for. Some call it SQL, but the real pronunciation is SQL. Stands for Structured Query Language. So it is a language used to communicate with databases. You can use that language to either store information, store data in your database, or retrieve data, or update or delete data efficiently. So think of it as a way of you talking to your database. Just like if you enter a library and you want to request for a book, you speak to the librarian in a language that he or she would understand before you can get the book. That's the way it is. So SQL is that language you speak to your database to retrieve information or to store data or to do anything you want to do in your database. So why learn SQL? Data is everywhere. Companies use data every day. So data is just everywhere. Please, if you are can we just mute ourselves, please? Yes, thank you very much. So data is everywhere. Companies use data. They need data to make decisions. So that's why one of the reasons why you need to learn SQL, because there are some data that you cannot use in Microsoft Excel. There's a limit to the amount of data that Microsoft Excel can take. So SQL can take billions, zillions, is what like that, of data. Another reason why you should learn SQL is for data organization. With SQL, with SQL, you can structure and manage your data to access it easily. Then with SQL as well, you can make sense out of data. Just the way you use Excel, Power BI to analyze data, with SQL, you can also analyze data and get insight. SQL is also a universal skill that is used across different categories, different industries, finance, healthcare, tech, education, name it. It is universal. We have some SQL commands. What are these commands? What are SQL commands? SQL commands are instructions. They're like instructions to a table. It is used to interact with the database with some operations. It is also used to perform some specific tasks, functions, and queries of data. So SQL can perform various tasks like creating table. You want to create a table in your database. You want to add data to your table. You want to drop a table. You want to modify a table. You want to set permission for users. All these are SQL commands. You can achieve this by using SQL commands. So we have types, or should I say category of SQL commands. All those select statements, stop clause, where clause, all those yes, select, those update, alter, those they are being categorized as type of some SQL command. So we have the DDL, data definition language. I'm talking about the categories of SQL command that we have. We have the DDL, we have DQL, which is a data query language. We have DML, which is data manipulation language. We have DCL, which is the data control language. We have TCL, transaction control language. I'm just trying to brush through this so no waste time on theoretical aspect. One, data definition language, which is the DDL. What are these used for? The DDL manage tables and index structures. They are used for defining, altering, and deleting database structures. So the most basic items of DDL are if you want to create table, you want to create table, you want to alter table, you want to add column to a table, you want to change data type, you want to remove a table. We have rename, you want to rename a table, rename a column. We have drop, you want to drop a table, you want to drop a column. So these are DDL language. They are used to define, alter, delete database structures. Then we have DQL, data query language in SQL. These statements are used for performing queries on data within the schema object. So the purpose of DQL command is to get some schema relation based on the query passed to it. So this command allows you to get data out of the database to perform operations on it. And one DQL statement is the select statement for data retrieval. If I want to retrieve data from a database or a table, I would say select from, and I'll get my data. So this is a data query language. Then the next one is the data manipulation language, DML, in SQL. The SQL command, that is the DML SQL command, it deals with the manipulations of data present in the table. So examples of this are insert. If I want to insert into a table, I want to insert data into a table, or I want to update data in a table, or I want to delete it, or I want to lock or call or explain, give access to the part of a file. That's where this explain plan comes in. So all this, if you want to manipulate your data, your table, and already existing table, you use all these command, SQL command to do that. Then the last thing here, okay, not last thing, second to the last, data control language in SQL. And what are these used for? They allow you to give rights and permission, access to a database. So you can give access to somebody to a database or revoke access as well. So the two common DCL commands are the grant and revoke. So grant is to grant someone permission, a user permission to a database or to a particular object. Revoke is to revoke that permission you're giving to the person. Then the last thing here is the transaction control language, the TCL in SQL. So transactions group a set of tasks into a single execution unit. Each transaction begins with a specific task and ends when all the tasks in the groups are successfully completed. So you see how those select from, update, insert into, those are transactions that you are doing in your table. So it says each transaction begins with a specific task and ends when all the tasks in the group are successfully completed. If any of the tasks fail, the transaction fails. So therefore, a transaction has only two results. Either it is successful or it fails. So sometimes if you want to create a table, if there's an error, it will not be successful. You won't be able to create that table successfully. And if it's successful, you'd get the successful message that, oh, you've been able to create that table successfully. All those insert, create, delete, those things are their transactions. So examples of this TC all SQL commands are, we have the begin transaction, we have the commit, we have rollback, and we have save point. So let's just go straight to the practical aspect of my SQL Server, not MySQL. All right. So the first thing you would see when you open your SQL Management Studio is this. So someone reached out to me this hold on. Okay, so Prince, you're saying something. You want to say something? Your hands up. You raised your hand.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
I wish you noticed this then. It's like I've even forgotten. I think I noted down 3 questions. I've forgotten 2, but let me just go with the first one I can remember. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? All right.
Yes, I
So the
can
first
hear
one
you.
is you made mention. Okay. So you made mention of the need to use SQL in data
Yes.
analytics.
Yes.
Reason being that there's an extent Excel can accommodate and all that, so the
Yeah.
need for SQL. So it may seem as though SQL is almost limitless, right? So
Yeah.
now my question is this. I think Dominic also said that in one of the classes too, that um, you have to manually impute, create, as what he was creating the table the other day.
Mm.
So I think he created about 4 or 5 rows as an
Okay.
example. So
Okay.
somebody now asked, is that how we are going to create this and just manually entering all this data. So
Data.
will form like 1,000 or 2,000 rows. He said, yes, that's how you're going to
No.
do it until. So, and I'm like, so I'm coming. So, and I'm like, it is not like that in Excel. Now, for you
Yeah.
to smartly, generate data on Excel, I could easily deploy maybe Google Form or Google
Yeah.
Collect Form or
Yeah.
Survey to Go Form, any surveys. So in that way, I can generate data that will run or span across over 1,000, 10,000, as the case may be. So long as people
Yeah.
are filling the form, I'll be getting my data.
Yeah.
So meaning I'm not manually telling people to fill it or me doing it myself.
Yeah.
So for SQL, is it possible for one to generate data like that
Now,
rather than sitting down and
okay.
start typing? No, I mean it's cumbersome if I
Yeah,
may
I
ask.
get.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand. Now, you see that aspect of getting data into databases. It is not a work of a data analyst. We have people, they are called the data engineers. These are the people that they will generate pipelines to draw or extract data from any source they want to
Sorry, what did
bring
you call
into
them?
the
Sorry, come again. What
database.
did you call them?
Data engineers.
Okay, okay.
Yes, these ones they deal mainly with creating pipelines to create warehouse in database, create just make all the data that you need ready. So as a data analyst, you have to come query the data, get data from the database and run your analysis. So we're just showing you how you can create table, how they create table. So the times that it's been needed for you to create table, maybe just a small amount of table in your. You can also bring in data from Excel, sorry, a CSV file into my SQL server. Let's assume you've used Google Form to generate the data, right? Then you would
Okay,
convert it
so
to a
can we
CSV
practice
format.
that here? Because I think someone asked
Of
that
course, I
question.
will show
Sorry.
you everything. That's why yeah, we'll do that.
Oh,
I'll show you
fantastic,
everything.
fantastic.
Yes, we would. So your next question. Do you have a next question? Okay. All right. So let's just move on. So the first thing you would see when you open your SQL management server, sorry, management studio is this. Someone reached out to me and he was like, it was showing just blank and browse for more. So if yours is not showing up like this, your desktop name and then SQL Express, just come down here, click on browse for more, then come here to database machine engine, click on this plus sign, and you would see the server here. Just click on it and that would add it in. So the next thing you do is make sure to check this box, trust server certificate, then connect. Okay, so I'll just select this, then I'll connect to
I
it.
can only see your slide.
You can only see my spread. Hello, can we hear?
Yes.
Is it the only one? Did you not see what I did just now?
I can
Okay,
see.
you can
I'm
see.
only seeing your slide. I can see just like 10.
Just
Or
slide.
maybe I will log out and log back in again.
Okay, let me try to do it again. Hold on, let me see. Let me try to do it. I'll just open it again.
No, I think it's my network. Let me log
Your
out and log
network.
back in.
Oh. Okay, then you can log out and log back in again. So I hope you are ready because it's going to be long hours of SQL. Although I'll give you guys a break, like 5 minutes break in between. So let's just connect. So I'll connect. So once I'm here, what I'm going to click on is come here and click on new query so that I can start, querying or creating database and the like. So I'll come here and hit new query. So once I click on new query, you should provide us a space that we can start adding in our queries, our everything. So what do I want to do? The first thing I want to do, what is SQL without a database? Is to create a database that I would have all my data stored in. So how do I create a database? The first, there's one thing when it comes to SQL, it's very, very important that you always add comments to every of your queries so that anybody that is seeing that query would understand what you've done and the reason why you use that query. So I want to create a database. I'm going to come here and did I put two hyphen like this? Press into hyphen like this, and I'll type to create a database with the name typing in this hyphen manually is to highlight all that I've typed in. Then you can see here we have two buttons here. There's one for comment out the selected lines, and there's one for uncomment selected lines. So I'll click on this one for comment out selected lines. I need to add that hyphen and make this a comment. If I want to uncomment it, come here and uncomment, but I want it to be a comment. What if my comment is very, very, very long? What if it's very, very long and you want to break it into different lines, multiple lines? I'll just break this like this. Let's say I have long comment. So how do you fix that? Another way to fix something like when you have a long comment is to use this particular symbol. Should I call it symbol or character? Slash, then shift 8 for asterisk, and I'll come here and do the same thing, shift 8, then this slash. So for long comment, if you have long comment that you want to add to your query space, you would just wrap it around this slash asterisk and asterisk slash. But if it's a short comment, just use the hyphen, double hyphen, and that would fix that. So I'll just clear this off because I only want to show us how that we can add comments using both. So click one. Want to create a database? Click one. To create a database, I'm going to use the statement create database. Create database. So what is the name of the database I want to create? Click one. Click one. What if you want to put a space in between your the click one? You want it to be click one like this. You want to have a space in between. It will not go through. You have to wrap it around square bracket like this. That is when it's going to work. Square bracket like this. Or you type it in like this, click underscore one. So you can't leave a space in between two things that you want to combine to form a database name. So you have to either wrap it around a square bracket or you put in an underscore in between. That's how it's going to. So let me just go with the first one, click one. Then I'll end my query by putting a semicolon. Although, even if I don't put the semicolon here, in SQL Server, it's still going to be executed. But in Postgre, I think it's a must you end your query with this semicolon in Postgre. It's a must, else it will not run the query. So I want to create a database, click one. I'll highlight it. I'll come here and hit execute or just press F5 on your system. And you see commands completed successfully. I just created a database with the name click one. So I'll come here. If I want to see this database I've created, just come here to this database and I would click on the plus sign. So to load everything here. So you can see that we have the database click one. So sometimes you might not see the click one immediately. You have to just select the database here and come here to refresh. Then it will refresh and you see that we have click one. Another way you can create a database is come here to this database, right click, and you'd see new database. So I'll click on this new database. Once I click on that, this pops up, the new database dialog box. So it's asking you what is going to be the database name. So I'll come here and say, let the database name be, let me give it click 2. So we have this here and I'll hit OK. The moment I hit OK, can you see that we have click 2? So you can, use any of the, as long as you're in SQL Server, either you use the SQL statements, create a database to generate that, or you just do it here manually by right-clicking, then come here and say new database. So we have a database. The next thing I want to create is a table. But before I create a table now, what if I want to just drop this? Since we only want to work with click 1, I don't want click 2. I'll just come here and say drop database database. Now, one thing you should note is that all these SQL commands, they are not case sensitive. I can as well type them using smaller cases like this. I'll say create database. It will still do the same thing for me, but it's best that you type them in capital letter to separate them from the normal text you are typing in. So drop database. What is database you want to drop? I want to drop database Clique 2. Clique 2. So you can see it here, Clique 2, then end my query and I'll run this. Press F5. Okay, so you're waiting for it. Okay, now it says because this is currently in use. So I'll come here. Let's say I'm here in Clique 1, and I'll come here and say, okay, drop database Clique 2, F5. And yes, it's currently, and that's because it was in master. So I just removed that. I've removed Clique 2 from, you won't find that. If I refresh now, let me do this again. Okay, yes, it does not exist anymore, but I don't know why it's still showing it. We'll just keep refreshing. Select database, and I'm going to refresh. So you can see, yes, you can't find that Clique 2. Make sure that this particular database is selected and you come here to refresh it. That should remove the Clique 2 that we created. Good. So let me just delete this particular query here. What we want to do next is to create a table. So to create a table, I will just say use the SQL, create table. Create table. What is going to be the table name? I want to create a table with the table name customer. So I'll come here and say, okay, create table name customers. The next thing I want to do is to add my column headers. So I would say create table customer, come down here. You can actually do it here if you want to, but I'll go to the next line and say, okay, what is going to be the first field? That is the first field header. I want customer ID. So anytime you are creating a table, just like how Dominic explained, you have to add in the type. What is going to be the data type for that particular field? What do I mean by field? Columns are known as field, while rows here in database is known to be records. So field, for customer ID, I want it to be int. So since it's int, what else do I want it to be? And there's something called constraint. Remember how that, okay, let's just continue. So comma. So what else? So let me just do it in a straight line. So the next thing is the customer name. Customer name. What is customer name? What is the data type? I want it to be voucher. Voucher. Open my brackets, and I will type in the number of characters it must accept. I mean, if your name is too long, it should not be more than, it cannot be up to 100. So just give it 100, comma. And the next thing I want is the customer age. I'll say customer age. Age is going to be int. Int. Oh, let me just make this to be in capital letter too, so it separates that. Voucher. Int, comma. Then the next thing I want to do is add a column for gender. So I'll say customer gender. Customer gender. Then what should be the data type? Voucher as well. Then I would give it 10. I mean, male, female is not up to 10 characters. Only if you are another gender entirely. So then the next thing, comma, I want to add the country, a column for country. Then what should be the data type? Voucher as well. Voucher, open my parentheses. Then I would say, okay, give it 50 character. Even if your country name is long, it will not be up to 50. So this is already getting long. So I would like to break it. So break it this way. Okay. Then comma. And the last thing is I want to add a field for state, virtual as well. I also specify it to give 50 characters. Now, there's one thing, if you remember how that looking at this table for customers is very obvious. This is a dimension table. This is a dimension table that is describing the entity customer. So remember how I told you that every table must have a unique identifier. So looking at this table, if you remember how I taught us fact table and dimension table, can someone tell me what the primary key is going to be in this particular table? What's going to be the primary key? What is the unique identifier for this particular table, customer table? Anybody?
Customer ID.
The customer ID. Very good. Customer ID. So I'm going to specify this to be my primary key. So before I move on, primary key, let me talk about constraints. I'm supposed to talk about this at the later part of the class, but let's talk about it now. Constraints. And what are these constraints? If you remember data validation in Excel, how that you place restriction on the type of data that a cell must accept. If you remember data validation very well, just the way constraint is. It specify how the data will be stored in the database. So we have some SQL constraints. We have not null. So what do I mean by not null? Let me just come here before we create the table now. We have some SQL constraints. We have not null. So I'll quickly run through this and explain them. Not null. We have not null. We have unique. Okay, unique. Let me just type them and comment everything out. We have primary key. We have foreign key. We have check. We have default. We have, yeah, these are the constraints. So let me comment everything out and I'll explain all this one after the other before we create that table. Good. So what is this not null? If I come here, before I think this primary key, if I come here and say int not null, it means that when data is being entered into this table, this customer ID column would not accept any null value, or something must be imputed into it. It must not be null. It must not be empty. When I add this constraint not null, I'm saying that as I'm creating this table, if I'm going to input data into it or any data that will be imputed into this particular table, this particular column must not accept null values. Something must be imputed into it. It must not be null. And the next one is unique. If I come to this customer name and I say unique, what I'm saying is it must not contain duplicate. So it means blessing must not appear twice in this particular customer name column. It must only appear once. So if we have 10 persons, their name must be unique. It must not contain duplicate. That is what this unique means. And the next one is primary key. The primary key is like a combination of both the unique and the not null. So if I'm saying make this the primary key, this constraint, I'm saying that this particular customer ID must not be null. That is, values must be imputed into it. Then 2, it must be unique. Remember how we used to remove duplicate from our dimension table so that there will not be any duplicate. Everything has to be unique. Exactly. So primary key, if I'm adding a primary key constraint, I'm saying that that particular column I'm adding it to must always accept value. It must not be null. Then we must not have duplicate in it. Foreign key. What is foreign key constraint is? Remember that foreign keys are those keys that links the dimension table to the fact table. So this foreign key constraint is that constraint that will prevent anything from happening to the relationship that will to the linking of tables to each other. Then we have check. Check is you let's say in this gender age, I want to place a restriction so that no age aside the only age that must be entered must be from 18 above. It must not be below 18. So I'll come here and say, okay, for this particular customer gender column, I would say that the voucher is this, and I'll say check. Check what? Where the customer age is greater than or equal to 18. And I'll close my parentheses. So what it means is that for this particular table I want to create now, this customer gender, the only age it must accept must be above, from 18 and above. It must not accept anything below 18. So all these are constraints. You are applying constraints to your table such that only what you specified will be allowed into it. Then we have default. This default is in case maybe a data is not imputed in a particular field, it's going to be the default. So let's say for this country, so I'm saying that if when they are entering data in this country field, they did not enter for a particular record, let the default, so I would add default. I'll say default. Let the default be for country, let's say, let the default be Nigeria. So I'm saying that in case they did not add anything for a particular record in the country field, let the default be Nigeria. So if while inputting data in that table, in that field, they did not add anything to that field, it would take the default Nigeria automatically because I have set it while creating the table. So let's just go on now. I think I'm okay. So I'll just remove all this. I'm just trying to use them to explain. So we'll go with our primary key. So I'll say, okay, for primary key, this is going to be our primary key. So I think I'm okay with this. Now, just make sure that you always separate them by commas. So customer ID, the customer name, voucher, the customer age, the country. So separate by commas. You see that you're seeing this error line. That's because I didn't separate by comma. So I'll come here and do the same thing. Separate by comma. Then the last, don't add comma to the last one. I'm just going to close that parenthesis. Then I will end my query using this semicolon. It's not a must you add this semicolon if you are here in Microsoft SQL Server, but just for formality's sake, just put it. So let's end your query. So I'll run this now and execute. Then you can see commands completed successfully. So if I want to see this table I just created, even if I've not inputted data, I just come here and say select all from customers, and I run this query, press my F5, you'd see that we have a table here with just column header, but we don't have data inside. So how will you see this table here? When you come here, you'd come to that particular database where you created this table to be in. Click 1. So I'll come here, plus, I'll come to tables, and you will see that we have a table here, dbo.customers, what we just created now. So you have to be very, very careful when you are creating a table. If I selected, I come here, I selected, let's assume I selected LDA, then I run this query here to create a table and I execute it. It's going to add this particular table to LDA. It's going to add it to LDA. And I don't want it to be in LDA, I wanted it to be in Clique 1. So you have to be very careful to know what database you are working in. So what if you want to select the database to work in, either you come here and select Clique 1 to work in that database, or you use, let me go back. Let's say I'm in master and I want to work on my database, Clique 1. I would use the command use what? Use Clique 1. If I run this now, use Clique 1, note here that is a master here. If I say use Clique 1 and I press F5, it will change from master to Clique 1. So it means I'm currently in Clique 1 database. I don't know if you got that. Are we following? Are we following? Please, I need a response. So I'll know I'm being followed.
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, so you can just meet ourselves back. So the next thing I want to do is to insert data, which is we're going to use the command insert into. So I'm saying insert into where? Insert into customers. Insert into customers. then we have values. Insert into customers, values. Now, if I only want to insert into, if I want to insert into all the whole table here, I want to insert into all the whole columns, I mean, just say insert into customers, the table you want to insert into the values. Then I'll go to the next line. I would open my bracket, then make sure that you are following the order of what you put in here. The first thing is the customer ID. So it's going to be 1. I want it to be in that manner. Customer ID to be 1. 1. If you are typing in number, you type it in directly. If you are typing in text, you wrap around a single quotation mark, comma. The next thing is the customer name. So let's say the customer name I want to add here now is John Doe. So John Doe, comma. The next thing is the age, which is int. Int means integer, numerical value. So let's say John Doe is 28. So 28, comma. Then the next thing is the customer gender. John Doe is a male. So I'll wrap it around a single quotation mark, male. Then, comma. Then we have the next thing is the country. John Doe is from where? He's from Nigeria. This thing doesn't sound Nigerian issue. Nigeria, comma. Then the next thing is John Doe is from Lagos. Wow, Lagos. Then I'm going to close my parentheses. Then I'll end my query. So I only want to add this. This is just a single record for John Doe. So I run this insert into customers, and I either press F5 or come and execute. 1 row affected. So for me to see it, I'll just use the select all from customers. End my query, and I'm going to execute this. So you can see we have a record here for John Doe. What if you want to maybe just add into some specific columns, you only want to add into the customer name, the customer ID and customer name and the age. You don't want to add into customer gender and country and state. This is where you can now specify the columns you want to add data into. So I would say insert into customers. I'll now put my bracket and specify the columns I want to add the data into. I want to add it into customer ID, comma, then the customer name and the customer age. Then I'll close my parentheses. I just specified. Remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns, but I only want to add data into just 3 out of the 7. And the next thing is the values. Move to the next line. You can actually start inputting your values from here, but to make it well organized, I like going to the next line. Values, then press my tab button to just align it well. Then I want to add the next one, 2, comma. Let's say I'm adding my name, Blessing Ibrahim, then comma. After, then age, 25, and I would just end that query. Then let's run this. Insert into, press my F5. 1 row affected. So if I select all from customers again, execute, you would see that it has added this, the customer ID, the Blessing, the age, then others remain null. So this is how you add into all. If you want to add into all the feeds in a table you've created, just type it in like this, insert into customers, the values, and type everything. If you want to add into some specified or specific fields, you'd highlight them, list them out by wrapping them in bracket and type in the values that you want to bring in. So what if I want to create a table? The manual way to do that, just come to database. We are in database, click 1 now. I'm here, click on the plus sign, go to tables. So here in tables, right click. Once you right click, you see new, then you see table. That is if you don't want to use query to create table. You see new, then click on table. So it brings this particular space for you to first type in the customer name. So let's say I want to type in, let's say I want to create employee table. So I'll say employee ID first. So what is data type of this employee ID? I want it to be int. So you select the data type that is going to be. So I want it to be int. Then do I want it to allow null? No, don't allow null. The next thing, maybe employee name or full name. Then what is going to be the data type? I want it to be varchar. So you select, oh, varchar 50. Do you want it to allow null? That is, you did not input anything inside. Do you still want it like that? I don't want it to allow null. Don't allow null. So you continue like that. Just type it in. Then once you are done, creating the column headers and everything, then I'll come here. You can see save table. So I'll click on save table. Then to ask for the table name. So I'll type in the table name. Let's see. Let me just give this employee details. Employee details. And I'll hit OK. So once I'm done, you should find that here. So let's refresh this. So can you see we have dbo.employee details? These are the two ways you can. Is that you use the query to create the table, or you come here and do it manually here by right-clicking on the tables, then come to new and new table and just fix that. But that's not what I'm showing you now. So I just created this table called dbo.employee details, but I don't need it. How do I remove from the database? I'm just going to use, so to remove, I'd say to remove what? To remove employee details table from database. Don't forget I said that it's very important that you always add comments to your queries so that anybody reading understands what exactly you are doing. So to remove employee details table from database, I'll just use the statement drop table. So what is the table you want to drop? Employee details. Employee details. This is it here. I'll end my query. Then I'll run this. So let's run. Commands completed successfully. If I try to, let's say I just want to refresh this and see if it's still here, you would not find that employee details anymore. That's been deleted. So let's just run this. So we have customer name, the ID, the name, the customer age, customer gender, country and state. I don't need this particular record for blessing. I don't need it. I just added it to show us how to specify our, if you want to add data to specific columns or specific fields in your table. So how do I delete this? So I'm going to use to delete blessings record. So to delete blessings record from table customers. So what do I want to do? I would say delete from what? Table. What's the table name? The table name is customers. Customers, then what? You have to specify. If I just say, click on this, I select this delete from customers without specifying where I want to delete, it's going to clear everything off. So let's see what happens if I just click on, I'm going to add it and let's see what happens if I click on delete from customers. Now, delete from customers and I execute this. 2 rows affected. If I try to say select from customers, now you would not see anything there. So you have to be very, very careful when using the delete statement. If you want to delete a particular record, you have to specify using the where clause what you want to delete. So I would say, okay, let me add this in again. Insert into customers this as well as this. So we'll have it again. Then select from customers. So we have it again. So if I want to delete, I would say delete from customers where what? Where the customer ID is equal to what? Equal to 2. Then I'll end my query and run this. That's why you have to understand English very well. 1 row affected. If I come here and say select all from customers now, you see we only have John Doe and John Doe's record on the table. So I would still show some database management commands very soon. But let's just remove all this. So I still want to add more data to my customer table. I sent some files to us on a Google Classroom. So I'm just going to highlight from these two here down to Control C to copy. So I'll come here. Since I already added in this first name for John's record, I don't need to add it in again, because if you should run it with the ones you are bringing in, it will add it back to the table.
It already exists.
Yes, it's already existing. So I have to delete it, then Control V to paste the one I just copied. Then I'm going to run all this again. Let me run all this. So hold on. Insert into. So I'm trying to copy everything. Yeah, copy to this point. Then I would execute it. So 29 rows affected. How will you see your data? Select all from customers, and I would execute. Then this would give me, as you can see, we have all the data we inputted here. We have it here. Everything. So before we start looking at how to retrieve data from database, and let me show you how you can bring in, Prince, are you there? Let me show you how you can bring in data from
Yes, I have a
Excel.
question, please.
But okay, all right.
All right, so just like Dominic said on MySQL, if you want to view the table that you've created,
Yeah.
I think there's a way he did it. If you don't want to use query to see the
Okay.
table, he said we should come, I think, by the left-hand side of the
Table.
workbench, right
Okay.
click, that we're going to see an icon or something like that. So I don't know, is it applicable on this SSME?
If you want to see a table,
Yes, without using the query, without
I
running
just
the
showed you how to now. I showed you how to do that. I said, come to the database. I showed you, come to the database that you created a table in, right? When you click on the plus sign on that database, you would see tables. Are you there with me? Now, I'm currently on Clique 1, the database we created in the beginning. I want to see the table I just created for customer without using, so I'd come here, table, click on the plus sign for table, and you will see the table you've created, DBO customer. Or what are you talking about? Are you talking about the data from the table or the table
Yes,
itself?
after running the script now, the
Okay.
table appeared. It says select table. So for us to
Yeah.
see the table we've created, you
Okay.
had to use the query to execute it, isn't
Okay.
it?
So you
So
can
as
do
I
the.
said, aside using the query, is there a
Okay.
way
So
we
you do
can do it
this
just like
now. Come to this dbo.customers, right? Right click, and you see select top 1000 rows. If I click on this, can you see? I didn't have to write any code or anything. I just right click and say select top 1000 rows, and it helped me brought out all the data in that table. Did you get
yeah,
that?
okay. Okay, yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah. So before we start looking at data retriever, so I'm going to show you how you can bring in data, a table into SQL, into this database here. So I'll come here to my tables. I'll right click. So I want to bring in a CSV file. Note that you can only bring in a CSV file here. So that means if you have a data that you want to bring it into SQL Server and it's an Excel file, you have to convert to a CSV file. So I want to bring in a CSV file. I'll come here, still in Clique 1. Inside Clique 1, I'll come to tables. I'll right click. Okay, no, come to the particular database itself. I'll right click, select the database, right click, then you see task. When you see task, you meant to click on task. Don't click on just hover around it. You would see other options here. I'll come here to import flat file. So I'll click on import flat file. When I click on import flat file, you see the import flat file dialog box appear. And it's saying, okay, the first thing is this wizard will help you import content of a file into a new database in your database. So you want to import data, you must specify the input file containing data, preview automatically generated table schema, and optionally modify columns. All this is just grammar. So come here to next, click on next. And the next thing is, where is the location of the file you want to bring into the database? So I'll come here to browse. So here in browse, I have my data in this particular place. sales data set. So I'm going to bring this customer lookup table. So I'll come here, I'll hit open. So if you want to change the name, let's say I want to change this new table name. I want to change it from what it's the name is bringing from the CSV file to maybe dim customer. Dim customer. So I'm okay. Then move next. Preview the data. So it's trying to preview the data you want to bring in. So I have all my data here. You can see it, the data here. Then I'll click on, you can see here, use rich data type detection may provide a closer type fit. So it will detect the type of data that you have in this CSV file you just imported by itself. If it does, if you check this box, if you don't check it, it will not detect it. It will not use rich data type detection. So I'll hit next. So you want to modify the column to specify, okay, which is the primary key, which you want to allow no or don't allow no. So I'll come here. Currently, my primary key here, we all know what primary key is, a unique identifier for every table. So my primary key here is the customer key. So I'll check this box for primary key because I want my customer key to be the primary key. So once I'm done, you check for others. Make sure you want to check for the data type if they are correct. Small int, okay, small int for this one. It has detected it automatically by itself, but if you can still change it if you don't want what it has detected for you. So small int, I'll leave a small int, and varchar. Now the reason why it's checked allow nulls automatically for prefix is because in that CSV file, that prefix, if you open it in an Excel file, it contains null. There's some places that there's nothing there. We don't have any value in those cells in that prefix column. If I should open this file in Excel now, you see that prefix, there's some places that don't have data in that column. So first name, if I check allow nulls, remember I said for first name and for last name, it means that nothing, if somebody is typing in data into that table and the person did not specify for first name and last name, you can still allow the data to be imputed into that table. But if I don't check this allow no, if someone is trying to impute data for just other column excluding first name and last name, it will not enter because I already add a constraint that it must not allow null. But I'm okay with this, right? I'm okay with all this. With the I've made this my primary key, and it automatically detected that this one it contains null, and it checked this box for it. So the next thing I'm going to move is to move to next. So it's just giving you a summary of the name of your local DB, the database that you want to bring the data into, the name of the table, then where it was imported from. And I'll hit finish. Inserting data so you can see operation complete. Then I'll close this. If I come here now to my tables, click on plus sign, then I'll refresh this. Can you see we have dim customer? So if I come here and right click and say, okay, let me see all the data in this without me typing any query, come here and say select top 1000 rows. It would get me. Can you see all the data? The customer key, prefix, the first name, the last name, birth date, marital status. You can see all the records from this particular table I brought in into SQL Server. Do we get that? Prince, did you understand how I did this? Are you lost?
Yes, this exactly. So this is exactly what I was asking there. So instead of sitting down and type all these things, so assuming I have it already, on Excel or CSV, I can just upload. Yeah,
a CSV. So if you have Excel, convert to CSV and bring it in. All right. So can just go on now. So I'm here. The next thing we want to look at, I've shown us how to create table, database, how to create table as well. And we have some records here for the customers. So what are we going to look at next? We want to look at the select statement, although I've used it already before. Select statement. And what is this statement used for? The select statement is used for data retrieval. If I want to retrieve information from a table, use select statement. So I'll come here and say, okay, what if I want it to return, let's assume that, okay, I have all the table here already, so we don't need, if I want it to return all the whole record, I would say select, then shift 8 for asterisk, select all from where? From customers. Now, what is this, the function of this from here? It is to specify the table you want to draw data from. So I'm saying for this select all from customer, I'm saying return all the records. Currently, you can see that the whole data here, it's 30 rows. If you check here, 30 rows. So I'm saying that return everything in that table, all the 30 rows. So if I run this, even if we have it here already, if I run this now, let's say I run this now and I press F5, it will bring back all 30 rows from this customer table. What if I want to only return some specific columns, maybe just the name and the age and the country, just 3. So to retrieve specific columns, so I would say select. Now in this case I won't use this asterisk because asterisk means you're selecting everything. I'm going to specify the columns I want it to return, and the first column is I want customer name, comma, I want the customer age, comma, I want the customer gender. So please, if you have a question that you want to ask, I can't see the this thing to know if someone raised hands or not. You can just say something and excuse me, something like that, so that I can know that you want to ask question, because I can't see the parts to know that you guys raised your hands. So I think the next thing is country. Sorry, country. So I have this. Select the customer name, the customer age, country from where? From customers. Then I'll end my query. So when you get to the last column, don't add a comma at the back of the line. If you add a comma, it would give you error. So at the last column you specified, don't add a comma. Just add comma to separate the first, second, but the last comma, leave it like that. Then I'm going to execute this, and this will return just 3 columns out of that data: customer name, customer age, then the country. The next thing I want us to look at is, we've looked at how we can create database table. We look at how we can select database. Then let's look at the order by keyword. And what is this order by keyword used for? The order by keyword is used to arrange your records in either ascending order or in descending. Yes, I can hear you. Do you want to say something? Hello? Okay. So the order by keyword is used to, like I said, sort your data either in ascending order or in descending order. So let's say this particular table, the 3 fields I just brought out, I want to sort the customer name in ascending order. So it will show from A to Z, not in this manner. I want to start in ascending order. So I'll come here. Let me remove this semicolon I put here. Select customer name, customer age, country from customers, order by. So order by is the keyword now. Order by what? I want it to order by customer name. If I don't add anything, I just end my query. By default, it takes ascending, which is ASC. It is ASC by default. That is to sort it in ascending order. That's if I don't add anything by default. Let's run this query and see. Execute. So you can see that it's sorted the table based on the customer name in ascending order. I didn't have to like add the ASC to it. What if I wanted to sort in descending order? I would add in DESC for descending order. So if I run this query now, execute, you can see that the first name here is starting from Williams Baker, then Susan, going that way. This is how you order.
What if you write it in full? That descending and ascending.
No. That's no. It is DESC and ASC. That is the short form. That is it.
Oh, wow.
Yes. DESC for customer name, and you have ASC as well. ASC. That's the short form. So what you can also, it's not just only a column. It's not just only a single column that you can sort. You can even sort 2 columns. So let's say I want to sort their customer name in ascending order, but I want to sort the customer age in descending order to see the oldest. So I'd say customer age, then DESC in descending order. So I'm saying sort the customer name in ascending order, but sort the age in descending order. If I run this query now, let's see what we're going to get. Execute. So you can see that it sorted the name in ascending order, but the customer name in descending, the customer age in descending order. So for Alex, we have 1, 2, 3 name here, starting with A. So you started them in alphabetical order, but when it comes to the age, it started with the oldest person first, the one with 44, because we said in descending order. That'll be from like largest to smallest for the age. So the 44 followed by 29, followed by 29. Then for Benjamin, 38. Then for Chloe, 25. Then for Daniel and for David, we have 2 Daniel and we have David. So you can see that how that is sorted both the customer name in ascending order and the customer age in descending order. So let's look at alias. Now, what is alias used for? Alias is used to change the name of the feed, the column header, the name of a feed temporarily. So let's say instead of showing customer age, I don't want it to so instead of showing customer name, I want it to just show full name. So I would come here and say, okay, instead of showing customer name, so I'll use as. So as is that statement that you use to change the name of your feed temporarily to show what you want it to show. So I'll say customer name as, then I'll say give it full name. Full name. Then I'll come to customer age. I don't want customer age to show customer age. I'll say, okay, as what? As just age. Then we have country. Let's leave it like that. Let me run this now and you'd see. So you can see that it has changed from customer name. If you check the column headers, it's no longer showing customer name, but full name, age, and country. It's not a must that you add this AS. If I remove this AS now from this one, and I run this query, I'm still getting the same result. So either you use AS or you don't, you will still get the same result as long as there's no comma separating it here. But maybe it's just make so you not mix things up. You can just add the AS, but it does not mean if you add AS or not, you still get the same result. It will change the field name for you temporarily. So we've done this. The next thing I want us to look at is to look at the distinct statement. And from distinct, it means unique, it means different. So let's say we have country here, but you will notice that we have duplicate of the countries. You can see Uganda, and if you scroll down, you should see another Uganda. If you scroll down, do we have Uganda here again? Yeah, you see we have duplicates. Nigeria appeared more than once, so Uganda appeared more than once, South Africa more than once. So what if I want to know the number of countries we have, excluding their duplicates? So I would use the statement distinct, select distinct. So to know the number of countries that we have. So I'd say, okay, what do I want to use? Select distinct what? Distinct country from, you must specify the from, because if you don't add from, it will not bring any data for you. So from customers. Then I'll end my query. And let's run this. Execute. This just returned 5 rows. If I did not add this distinct to it, let's say I remove the distinct and I run this, execute, it will bring out, you see we have 30 rows. That means it brings out the record in that field country with their duplicate. But I don't want to see duplicate. I don't want to see the unique state that we have, unique number of states that we have there. I have to wrap it. I have to use the distinct statement to get that. And that would help us with the result.
Sorry,
are we following?
I've remembered what I wanted to ask the other time.
Okay.
So it's actually a favor. I don't know. So the slide you used, I don't know if you share your intellectual property, even if it's a PDF format. Can we get that?
What slide is that? The one I used in explaining the first one?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
I can send that. I can send that, sure.
To the class? Are you sending it to the classroom or?
I will send it to the classroom or anywhere. All right.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so do we have any question, anybody? What we've been doing so far? Are you lost? Should I find you? Any question? Andrew, are you there? Any question?
So one more question, please.
Okay.
So we've just learned MySQL. Now we are learning SSME. So does that mean that all the SQL applications that we have, we're going to run through them all? Because from your
No.
slide, you indicated this one is used for Twitter, Facebook. This one is used for
No,
financial
yeah, you
institution.
can't. We're not going to teach you everything. In fact, the only thing we would have done is just, because once you know how to, these things, they are similar, just little difference in their queries, just little difference. They are very, very similar. So I just said, let's just teach them how to use SQL Server, because that's what I use and I like it compared to compared to MySQL. So that was why I said, let's just teach people how to use. So whichever one we want to use, either MySQL or this one, it's up to you. It's up to you. But most of the time, that MySQL, if people are just starting to learn SQL, then they use those ones. So
what
most
if
organization uses this MS SQL Server and Azure, then Oracle. So you want to say something?
Yes. So what if I am more conversant with this SSME and I have
SSMS.
yes, SSMS, sorry.
Okay, SQL
All right.
Server.
So,
Okay.
and I happen to land a job with, let's say, KPMG. And
Okay.
KPMG uses, let's say, my SQL. I haven't used my SQL before. So,
Okay.
I hope it won't be a struggle, right?
To be honest, it will not be a struggle because they are similar to each other. Only little changes. Like I think for my SQL, it is limit. If I want to select let's say I want to select top 5 rows, top 10 rows in in SQL Server now, I'll use the top clause, but in my SQL they use limit. So it's just little, but majority of the commands are the same thing, just little differences. So even if you're going to learn again, you will not learn too much. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. It's just little
Yeah,
difference. Little different. Any other person? Any question? Okay, so I think I can just go on. All right. So I just showed us how you can use the select distance. The next thing I want to show us is so let's look at top. So let's select all the data first. Select all from customers. So we have all this. So we are going to look at the top clause. So let's say I want to just select the top 10 from my data. Let me use top clause to select top 10 from my data. So I would say select top 10. That is top 10 from what? The customers. Then I would end query. So I'll run this now and execute. So we just have the first 10 that it returned. It returned the first 10 for me. If you remember how Dominic taught you in MySQL, I think it's limit. It will just be select all. I think that's in MySQL. Select all from customers. Then limit it will be limit 10. But you can say that this limit is not highlighted. It did not change color. So that means this particular keyword, particular statement is not used here in SQL Server. So I'll just remove that. Select top 10. Top 10 from all my data. And that would give us, so even if I run this without the semicolon, it's still going to work. So what if, so you can specify the number of the number of row records or rows you want to return. Can be 20, can be 5, anyhow, anyone you want to specify. So the next one we're going to look at is we have top percent. So let's say I want to return 50% of my data. We have the whole data in this customer table is 50, sorry, it's 30 in total. The whole record is 30 in total. So if I wanted to return 50% of my data, which means half of the data, that is 15 rows. I'll just come here and say, so let's say top percent is the top percent plus. So I would say select top 50%. Always just add, make sure you add this to show that it's from all the from customers. And I'll end my. So if I run this now and just press my F5, this return just 15 rows. That's half of the. So it's very, very useful. This is why you may not really see the usefulness of this now, because we don't have much. What if we have millions of data, millions of rows of data, and you want to see half of it, or you want to see 20% of it, or 10% of the data? So you can just use this. So let me see top 10%, and it's so useful if you want to, let's say you're in analysis and you want to see, top 5 customers based on the profit, or top 5 customers based on revenue. Then when you start running some analysis, you see how you use SQL to get those results. So that's that on top clause and top percent clause. So the next thing I want to look at is how to filter your data. So I'm going to data filtering using the where clause. So data filtering using the where clause. The where clause is used to filter out data from your table. So let's say, and again, it works with, some comparison operators such as, greater than or less than, comma, greater than, we have comma, we have less than or equal to, we have greater than or equal to, we have not equal to, let me just equal to itself. Then we have not equal to. We have two symbol for not equal to. Is either you use this one, equal to, or you use this one, anyone. That is, these are for comparison operators, standard comparison operators. There's no how you won't use all this in the where clause operators. Then the next one you use with the where clause are the logical operators, which are logical operators, the and, the or. So we look at that now. The and, the or, the not, we have in, we have between, we have in between, we have like, we have. So we're going to look at how to filter database on these ones. Like, we look at is null as well. Is null, look at not null. Is not null. So let's go with the first one. Like I said, that the where clause is used to filter data from, or filter some results, or filter records out of your table. So I'll come here. Let's say I want to see, let me first select everything from this table. So I'll go up and say select all from customers. So I'll see all the records here. So I have this now. So let's say I want to select from, so using the operators, comparison operators now, I want to select from the customer table where the customer age is less than 30. Less than 30. So I'd say select all from customers where. So where what? Where customer age is less than 30. Then I'll end my query. If I run this, don't forget we have 30 rows in the data, in the table originally, that we have 30 rows. So if I should run this, it returned just 9 rows out of 30. And if you check every of the customer record here, you will see that they are below 30. 28, 29, none is above 30. So I'm saying select from all from customers where the customer age is less than 30. So you use this where the where clause to filter out data from your table. So what if I wanted to show where customer age is less than or equal to 30? If I run this, it will include 30 as well to the range, that is return from all the customer that is from 30 downwards. So if I should execute this, you can see it has increased to 11 rows from 9 rows because it added this 30, that is Emma Keta, and this 30 again for Mia Allen. What if it is greater than 30? If I should run this, execute, it gives a record. We have 19 rows out of 30 that are greater than 30. All these customers here are greater than 30. What if I wanted to show from 30 above, that is greater than or equal to 30? So I'll run this, execute, and this will give me a record. We have 21 rows out of 30 that are greater than or equal to 30. What if I don't want to see customers that are not 30 years old? So either I use this symbol, exclamation mark equal to, like this, to say where customer is not equal to 30, like this. If I run this, I would get a list of customers that are not equal to 30. So we have 28 out of 30 rows. So if you want to know if your query is working, it's giving you correct result, always check this results place here to know the rows, how it's changing. So we have 28 out of 30 rows. So what if another symbol, again, like I said, either you use this one or you use this one. So this symbol here, this operator here, is also for not equal to. So where customer age is not equal to 30. So if I run this, we'll also get the same result as when we use our other exclamation mark equal to. So we have the same result. It's not only with a numerical feed that you can use these operators. Although, you know, you don't have to use it with just equal to. So if I'm saying where customer age is equal to, let's say I want to see, sorry, not age now, where country, select all from customers where country is equal to Nigeria. If you are typing in a text, wrap it around single quotation mark, Nigeria. So I'm going to end my query. So I'm saying select all from the customers where the country is equal to Nigeria. So if I run this now, execute, you have that we have 13 rows out of 30, and every of these customers here are from Nigeria. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so the next thing, so you can use it as well with a column that contains dates, or a column that contains numerical feeds, dates feeds, text feeds. You can use this operator, any of the operator. But you know, if you are dealing with numerical, it has to be always less than, equal to, less than or equal to, greater than, all these ones. So if I say I don't want to see country Nigeria for my record, I would use, I'd say where country is not equal to Nigeria. So if I run this now, execute, this should return records of persons. So we have 17 rows out of 30 that they are not Nigerian. The next thing that we're going to look at, we looked at this comparison operators, is logical operators. We have the and, or, and not. So quick question, who can remind me, remember how we use the and, or, and not in Microsoft Excel? Can you remind us what the and function is used for, the or is used for, the not is used for? So anybody, I want to ask question now. So who is going first? Or should I call names? Who wants to go first? Is Martha here? No, Martha is not here. Okay. Prince, do you want to go? Do you know what the and function is used for?
I don't know, how do I even explain it now? Say, I know how to apply it, but
explain it anyhow.
Okay, so like in Excel, if I want to identify a range, like I'm telling Excel to, identify the number of pupils or students that scored from 50 to 80. So I will use the and function, to get that. I think the same thing is applicable for all, but this time around it may not be a range, right? So you could say, okay, identify students that scored, let's say 40 or 45. Let me put it that way.
All right. So thank you very much. So let's just look at this. So this logical operators, if you remember how the and is that operator that will return true if, so you use this and or not if you have more than one condition. If you have more than one condition. So for the and, it will return the record where the two conditions are met. It means both conditions must be met. Whatever condition or criteria you're applying must be met for it to return or filter out the record. For the or, if you remember how I explained well in Excel, for the or, either of the conditions, either of the criteria, if either of them are met, then it will filter out the record, it will bring out result. Then for the not, it's like reverse. It's like reverse. If something is true, it will bring false. If something is false, it will bring true. So let's just look at how we can work with these logical operators here. So I'm saying, select from customers where the country is Nigeria and the customer is above 40. So let's do that. Where country is equal to, so hold on for me, please. Hold on, please. All right, sorry guys. So I'll come here. I want to see record of customers where country is equal to Nigeria and the customer age is greater than 40. So I'll say where country is equal to Nigeria and the customer age is greater than 40. You see how that when I wanted to type in a text, I wrapped it around single quotation mark. But for number, you have to type it in straight. If you should wrap this number into with single quotation mark, it becomes a text. So I'm okay with this. Then I would end my query and I will run this. Execute. So we don't have anything here. Let's see what. Let's select all from customers and see why that it did not give us a result. Let's see if these criterias. Let's see if we have people that meet the criteria. So come here. First, I'm going to check. Let's first look at all those that are in Nigeria first. You would see that we don't have any customer that is greater than 40. If you check here, you can see I only highlighted all this, excluding this and. All the customers you are seeing here are from 40 downwards. And that is why it did not return any result, because for and, both conditions must be met. If I had used or, now for or is that either of the conditions, if either of them are met, it will still filter out the record. If I say or, if I use or here and I run this query, execute it, it will give me result. We have 18 rows out of 30. So if I come here and check for Nigeria, these persons are in Nigeria. But for Kenya, that is, it returned Kenya record because this person's age is greater than 40. South Africa because this person's age is greater than 40. 40 Nigeria, 38 Nigeria. So if any of it will filter record for those in Nigeria, the record for those that their age is greater than 40. That is for the O. But for and, before it return a result or return records, both criteria must be met. So if I change this from greater than 40 to less than 40, let's say I choose less than 40, and I run this, execute, we have record 12 out of 30 rows. And all this, any record you see here meets these two criteria. You can see here they're all Nigerians, no strange country, and their age is below 40. You can't see from 40 and above. You are seeing below 40, 28, 34, 38. Everything here is below 40. That is how you use the AND operator. And note that you can add as many as possible if you have plenty criteria. Here, we only have 2 criteria. One for country, where country is Nigeria, and where age is less than 40. What if I'm saying, okay, where state is, let's say where state is Abuja. So I'd come here and say, and state is equal to Abuja. Abuja. I'll end my query, then run this. Execute. So it only return this person, record for Jane Smith, because she's the only person that is in Nigeria and her age is less than 40, and she's also in Abuja. So if you have more than 2 records or 3 records that meet this criteria, it will return those records as well. That is for the AND operator. So for the AND operator, you use it when you want to filter your data based on criteria that must be met. So what if I've explained the OR? For OR, if any of the criteria is met, it will still filter out the record. So let's say I want to, so let me first select all from the customers now to see all the record. Select all from customers. So I'm saying that, okay, you want to select all from customers. Select the customer name, the age, and the gender, just 3. And I want to see where the country is equal to South Africa, age is greater than or equal to 20, greater than or equal to, let's say, 40. Then the let me pack too many criteria. So someone should remind me, age greater than or equal to 40. The country is South Africa. Then let's look at city. City should be, let me give city. Let's just use that one. So I'm going to say select, we specify the customer name, comma, then what? The customer age, comma, and the customer gender. Okay, then from where? From customers. So you have to specify where the data is coming from. From customers. Move to the next line. Where what? Where the customer age is greater than 40, or the country is equal to South Africa. So one thing you should note, if you are typing in any of the context, it has to be exactly what is in that column. So you can see South Africa, it must be South Africa here. It means if S is in small letter, this one must also be in small letter. If A is in small letter here, it must also be in small letter here. So I can add as many as possible if I have many criteria that I wanted to still check. Or the person is where customer gender is equal to, let's say, male. So you can see I have more than 2 criteria. I have like 3 criteria. So let's run this and see the results we get. Don't forget I said for the OR operator, if any of the criteria is met, it will still filter the record. It's the AND that both criteria must be met. So I'll execute this. And you can see I return the customer name, age. So we have male here. That is because this person, I will specify that it should also return male, even if the age is not greater than 40. But because here it is all that we used, and we said that all customer gender is male, that is why I return male for this person. So here we have female. The criteria here is met for the age, where customer age is greater than 40. 50, 40. 40 here, it didn't meet this criteria here, but it met the criteria for gender. So I didn't maybe add the column for country. Let's see if I add column for country now. Say comma country. Then I run this again. So you see it here now. Like I said, this age, the criteria was not met for age, but it met criteria for the male, and it returned the record for that person. This age, the person, it met criteria for age, and I return the record. So any of the criteria met here, it will return record for each. So it will check to first filter for this one. If there's any record that meets this one, it will return it. Then it move to the country. If there's any record that meets this criteria, it will add the record to it. It will check this one. If there's any record that meets the criteria, it will add it to it. The next operator we'll look at is the not. So this is for and operator. Then this is for or operator. Please, like I said, if you have question or you got lost at some point, just call my attention to it and I'll be glad to go back for you. Thank you. So the next one is okay.
All right. So you would recall earlier in the class you said that SQL is not case sensitive when you are writing a script or a query.
Okay.
But now you mentioned that when retrieving data, that you have to be careful to ensure that what you are looking for is exactly the way it is. For instance,
Now,
this
when I
South
say
Africa.
case sensitive, I was referring to the commands. These commands.
Oh, strictly for the commands only.
Yes, the statements. Yes, not for, if I come here and say if I put let's see if I put I think you should still bring it out. If I put S here and I put A, let's see. When I run this, it still return that though, but SQL is not case sensitive when it comes to the statement as well. So it still return that actually. All right. So let's look at the next one. Look at is the not. The not. Okay, are we together?
Yes.
Are we together? Okay, so not. Yes, like I said, the not to bring the reverse. So let's say I want to select all from customers where country is not Nigeria. If you're going to use the comparison operator, either this symbol here, this standard comparison operator. If I want to use that and I say, okay, select all from customers where can say where country is not like this, is not equal to Nigeria, then I'll run this. If I run this, we'll get this. But what if I want to use this operator not?
Can anyone hear her? I can't hear her. Or is it only me?
Same here.
I don't think it's only you. Maybe our network. Hello, ma. She's not here.
Hello. Please.
But her screen is still showing.
Hello, can we hear me, please? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The network, I got logged out. Sorry, so I would just continue my. So where did I stop? Where did people hear me stop? So I would know.
You talk about the all.
The or function. Did you hear me explain the not function?
No, I think that was.
No, you didn't finish it before the network yanked you.
Okay, but you saw how I used that standard operator, this one, to filter our data, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I would say where country, where not. So now select all from customers where not country equals Nigeria. So if I run this now, I execute this, so you can see that we have the same result as when we use that other one. So select all from customers where not country is equal to Nigeria. This is how you use the not operator. So if I say, okay, where country, I want to see all the customers that their age is not equal to or is not greater than, let's say greater than 40. So I'll say not, where not customer age is greater than, let's say 40. So if I run this query now, execute, this should give us a record of customers that their age is not greater than 40. It's going to be below 40. I can say you have 25 rows out of 30. This is how you use the logical operator and, or, and the not. But I'll still show you how you can as well use this not operator with combined with other operators like the in, between, likes. So let's just look at let's start with between. So I'm going to look at between first. And what is this between used for? Between operator. So this between operator would help you filter out data between range. So what if I want to see all the customers that are between 30 and 45? So I would say select all from customers. Select all from customers. Okay, I'm selecting what else do you want? Select all from customers. Where customers? Where what? Where the customer age between between what and what? Between 30 and 45. Now hit that. Let's run this. So I'm saying select all from customers where the customer age is between 30 and 45. So if I run this, that will give me records of all the customers that are between 30. So we have 20 rows out of 30. And if you check all the customers, they're looking at their age, they're going to be between 30. So it's going to be from 30 to 45. Starting from 30 to 22, down to 45. What if I don't want to see the customers that are between this range? This is where you combine the not and this between function. So you select all from customers where customer age not between 30 and 45. If I run this now, you can see we have records of customers that are not between 30 and 45. Is either that they are below 30 or they are above 45. So you can see you have 28, which is below 30. We have 50, which is above 45. We have 29, below 30, 25. So any record you see here are the ones that did not fall between this range. So you don't only use this between for numerical fields alone. You can also use it for fields that let's say that contains text. So let's say I want to see, let me run everything first. Select all from customers. So let's see, select all from customers. And I want to see all the customers that are between between let's say Ghana and Nigeria. So I'd come here between, so let me just change this from to country between Ghana and Nigeria. So let's run it and see. If I execute this now, you can see that we have country, we have 22 out of 30 rows. And what happened? That it returned 22 out of 30 rows. So it's going to check based in alphabetical order. We have between Ghana and Nigeria, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then H, I, J, K. That is all the country that starts with the in alphabetical order. So it's going to return all the countries that have started with, you know, after G is H, I, J, K. So you can see K, we have Kenya. What else? Which other this we have here? I think it's just only Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya that I returned. So it should just return state that between those two states, South Africa and country, by looking at it in alphabetical order, those countries that fall between the two of them. So the next thing we're going to look at is, let's look at the in operator. So I'm going to look at the in operator. And what is this in operator used for? It allows you to return records based on multiple values. So what if I say, okay, I want to see all the customers. Let me select all from customers first. So we'll see our record. I want to see all the customers that are in Nigeria. Or let me just use country that look at Nigeria as most of our customers are Nigeria, that are in Kenya, South Africa, and Uganda. Those customers in those three countries. So I'll say, okay, select all from customers, then what again? Select all from customers where what? Country in, so where country in what? So I'll open my brackets. I'm going to type in all the countries I want to see, all the records, the countries I want to see the records drawn from. So I want to see for those that are in, I think I said Kenya, comma. Then I also want to see those in, I think I mentioned South Africa, and Uganda. South Africa, then Uganda. So I'll close my parentheses, then end my query and run this. And this will return record of those that are in Kenya, South Africa, and Uganda only. That's the only record you will see. You won't find anything aside those countries you've specified that it should return. So in operator, you can filter out record from your table based on multiple values, multiple values or multiple criteria that you want it to work with. So the next thing we look at, so what if I don't want it to return those that record of those are in Kenya, South Africa, and where country not in Kenya, South Africa, Uganda. So I'll run this, execute. This will return all the country records of customers that are not in any of this country. So you can see we have Nigeria, we have Ghana, Nigeria, Ghana. If I scroll down, the only one you'll be seeing is Nigeria and Ghana. You will not see those in Kenya, you will not see those in South Africa, you will not see those in Uganda. This is how you use the in operator. So the next one we'll look at is the like operator. And what is this like operator used for? It allows you to pattern like operator. So let's say I want to see customers that their name starts with A. Filter record from customers. Filter from customers where the name starts with, the customer name starts with A. So I'd come here and say, select all from customers where the customer age, so where customer age, sorry, not age, customer name, like, so I would put the pattern, rapid transition quotation mark, like. So now we have some, they call them wildcards that you can use. I'll just show us two. The first one is this, we want to see customers that their name starts with A. So I'll type in A, then I'll type in this symbol, this percentage symbol. So what this means, this percentage symbol means that it must start with A. Since A is starting first, the name must start with A. This percentage is that any number of characters can be returned. Any number of characters can be returned. So we have this. I'm going to end the query and I'll run this. Execute. So you can see that it only returns customers that their names starts with A. What if I want to see customers that their name ends with A? So I'll come here. That percentage will be in the front. The symbol will be in the front, I mean. Then I'll type my A and I'll run this. So it did not return anybody, probably because we don't have anybody that their names ends with A. I don't know if you are following me. Are we following? Are we following? Okay, so let me just ask questions to be sure that we are following. So I will start with.
Yes, we are following, ma.
All right, thank you very much. Adeyemi Adenuga, are you there? Can you hear me? Can Adeyemi Adenuga hear me? Okay, so Andrew, can you hear me? Can Andrew hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, Andrew. Can you just give me the difference between the and, or, and the not logical function? I want to be sure that we are all following me. You want to
I beg your
explain?
pardon, and then?
What do you say?
I beg your pardon?
The and, the not, and the or. Can you differentiate between those three logical operators?
Yes. So,
All right.
the and is used when you have multiple criteria.
Okay.
And it's used in a situation whereby you're trying to filter out rows where each of those criteria is satisfied or it's true.
Okay.
So if there are 2, 3, 4, or as many criteria, they must all be true.
Yeah.
So whatever row has all those criteria true will be filtered just for and. Then for or, or is for filtering out all the rows whereby at least one of the criteria is satisfied.
Okay.
And then not is basically the opposite. If you want to filter out rows whereby a certain condition is not satisfied, or it's the direct opposite is true.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. Okay. I want a female now that would explain. All right, Basi, are you there? Can Basi hear me? Basi, can you hear me? Ibu should not run away now. Where are the females? Where are the females? Yetunde, are you there? We only have 2 females on the call.
Yes,
okay. Anna is here too. All right. Can you differentiate between the in between and the like operator? Can you?
okay.
Okay.
Like operator is used to filter data, and you explained using wildcards, whereby if you want to filter name that starts with A, or maybe a country that starts with N. So we'll be using the symbol shift and 5, which is percentage symbol.
Okay.
So want to know the country that starts with C. That means the first letter is C. We are using C, then the symbol percentage. If the country ends with C. That means we are using the percentage, the C.
Okay, so if you want to filter out record based on a pattern, use the like. Okay, so what about the between?
Okay, for between. Okay, between is just like you. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. For instance, if you want to filter age, customer age, maybe between 30 to 50, that means it will only return age that within that range, which is to only return maybe 31, 32, 33, 34 to that 50.
Okay, so you're saying that is used to filter our data based on a given range.
Yes. No, thank
All right,
you.
so the next one is, I think the last one. Okay, let's just go on. Thank you very much for sharing that. All right, so should we go on a 5 minutes break, everybody? You like to go on a break or should just continue? I'm not tired though. It's just for us. Like it's 3 hours class. So should you continue or we should go on a 5 minutes break?
It's 5 minutes, man.
Who is that? Who is that person? Who is that, please?
Yesterday.
Yetunde. All right. So let's go on a 5 minutes break, everybody. Then by this is my end here. The time is 7:02. By 7:07, let's be back. So don't leave the call, oh, just mute yourself and go on a 5 minutes break. Thank you.
Hello, is anybody on the call?
Yeah.
Hello, we are on the call. We are having a 5 minutes break that will be ending in 1 minute time. Time up. Time up, everybody. Are we on the call? Are we still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So let's just continue from where we stopped. So this is how you use the like operator. So we have their white cards. I'll only show us these two. So there's, if I put this, let's say I put this underscore, and I put A. So I'm saying that there will be a character. Now let's run this now. Let me run this now. Let me just add my percentage here. So I'm saying that filter all the records from the table where there's a character. The second character of the person's name is A. Then this, like I said, this symbol for percentages, it means any number of character with 0 or even 1, any number of character. So if I should run this now and execute it, you can see that it returned this record where we have J. The first letter is J, but the second letter is A, as we specified here. The first letter here is M for Mary, second letter is A. David, D, second letter is A. L, Laura, second letter is A. J. So what this underscore is just for is represent a single character. A single character. That is what it is for. A single character. So if I come here and say, okay, from customer name like where we have A, then underscore, let's say A, then underscore. This should not, I don't think it will return any record for us, but let's see. Let's run this. If I should run this now, execute it, we don't have anything. That's because I'm saying that return where the first name, the customer name start with an A. Like I said, this underscore means just a single character. And if you should check through the data, we don't have anybody that has just 2 characters as a name, maybe JO as a name or A something as a name. It's just we have long names here. So that's why it didn't return any record for us. So you just use a like operator to filter data based on a pattern that you specify for SQL to filter. So now let's look at the next thing we'll be looking at is the aggregate function. Aggregate functions. And what are these functions used for? These functions are used to perform aggregations on your data. What are these functions? We have the count, we have the sum, we have the AVG for average, we have max, we have mean. These are aggregate functions. I also look at some arithmetic operators such as plus, minus, shift 8 that stands for this is for times. Then look at the slash for division. There's also modulo. This one to for modulo. But let's just look at these ones first. So I'm going to be creating another table for products. So let's come here. I think I've shared this file with us already. So I'll come here. Now scroll down to where I have okay. So create. Okay, so I'm coming. Okay, so I think let's go with this. Should we go with okay, let me just create this. I'll bring in, I have a table here that contains the data, so I'll just bring it in. Don't want to start copying, start typing again. Or let's bring this in first. So I want to create a table with the name products. So I would say, now who's going to put me through? So let me just quickly list out what I want to see. So I think I want, so you can note that, I will note that here at my end as well. I want to see, create a table with the product ID, product name, then category, then subcategory, then unit price. All right. And unit price here is showing that is in decimal point. Okay, so who is going to put me through? I want to create a table first. So let's create the table. Let's create a table. So it's going to put me through a table that contains product ID, product name, category, subcategory, and the price. Who is putting me through? Who wants to go? Who wants to put me through? Show me how to create. I want to create table now. We've forgotten the commands to create table.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let me give it a try, Ama.
Okay, yes, you can.
So we can start by writing create table.
Create table.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we'll put our table name there.
Product.
Product. Then now we need to input values. Input, is it column name?
Column headers, yes, column headers.
Then we'll go about
open brackets. So the first one is the product ID from here.
Then comma.
Should you just go ahead and put a comma? Should you not specify the data type?
The data type will be, this one is in int. This one will be int. Then comma. Then product name.
Product name.
Yes, product name.
Product name. Voucher.
It depends. We might want to limit the number of text in the column, maybe 50.
Let's say 50. Comma.
Then comma.
Then the next one.
Categories.
Okay, categories. Category. Voucher as well, right?
Yes.
Voucher.
Maybe 100 or 50 or so.
Okay, so let's give it 50 as well.
Then comma, subcategory.
Subcategory.
Subcategories.
Okay.
Voucher.
Voucher.
Yeah, 50 or so.
50. Okay.
Then comma. Then
the last
unit
price. Okay.
That will be int.
Int. Okay.
Unit price.
What do you say? Unit price. But look at what we want to insert into our table. We can see how that our unit price here is. So we're going to give this decimal. So since our unit price, now we have different data type. So pick a time and we look at data types. So we'll use decimal. So what do I mean? Because look at the values here. They're in decimal points. 800.00, 600, so decimal. So we use decimal. That type here is going to specify it's going to be decimal. So I'll say decimal, then I'll specify that the whole 5.2. What do I mean? What does this mean? It means that in total, all the values in total. So if it's, let's say it's let me just come down here and type it here. If it's 300 plus 0.00. Everything in total, when you count everything, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, must be 5 in number. This 2 means the number of decimal points, 2 decimal points. So this is it. Then the next, I think we are done. I'll just close my bracket, close it. But one thing is missing. We did not add, what's going to be our primary key here? We didn't add the constraint. What's going to be our primary key?
That'll be the product ID. Then can
Yeah,
come
so I'll give this primary key. So I'll hit enter. So I'm okay now. I'll run this query. This is showing me, yeah, because of this unit price. So you can see it's giving me error, and that's because when I was typing this in, spaced it, so I shouldn't space it. So I have this now. I'll run the query, create table. I'm okay now. Then I'll come here. I already have these queries here for all the products. I'll highlight everything. Copy.
Sorry, Blessing, before you go, I have a question, please.
All right.
Before you continue. All right, so I noticed that I don't know if it is applicable here on SSMS.
Okay.
On MySQL,
Okay.
if you want to write your primary key, you can decide to continue after the unit price. I don't know, is it applicable here
Now
too
this is
on this
this
workbench?
is for MySQL. This is how you do it in
Aha.
SSMS.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So
Now,
can you see this
secondly,
fine?
again, yes, I
What do you
get you.
say?
So, secondly, yeah. So before creating this table, right? I was thinking maybe, or maybe because we are already on Click One database, so I'm thinking
Okay.
maybe we'll have to indicate, telling the server that, oh, use Click One or use any other database. I think
Is
that
it
that's
because
necessary, right?
yes, is it because we are currently on Click One? I didn't mean I'm not on Click One. I would have said use Click One to add
That
the
will be the
table in.
first. That will be the first command before
Yes, I
even.
didn't mean I'm not on Click One. So you have to be sure that you're on Click One. So it's because I'm sure. That's I just type this in straight. If I was not sure, I would have just come here, either click on the drop down button and select the database to add it into, or use Click One. Use that statement. Use Click One, and that would change it to the database we want to work on. Any other question?
None for now.
All right, thank you. So I'll come here. I would highlight this. I've highlighted. So Control C to copy it, then come here and paste it. So you see the same thing, the same method where we are saying that it followed the order. So let me just scroll up and so I would comment this out to create the table product. Okay, so we have this. So I'm saying create table. We've created product ID, custom product name, category. We've created all this. So I'm saying insert into product. So since I want to insert into all this column I created, the ID, product name, category, subcategory, and unit price, I don't have to specify, list out all this again. It's not needed. Only if I want to add into specific some columns, some fields. So I'll run this now, highlight everything, then press F5 to add it in. F5. So we have a problem. Arithmetic overflow, converting numbers, numeric to data type, numeric. Boom. Let's see. What's our problem? So line 16, line 130, I mean, line 130, insert into products the values. Let's see what the problem is now. It's showing us that we have errors. Error converting numeric to data types numeric.
J is the brother of K. K is the brother of L, and L is the brother of L.
Okay, so let me run this again and see. So now let me show you, in case, I don't know if you might not have this line as well in your own work. So just come here to your tools. So when you get to tools, click on options, then come to text editor. And here in text editor, you'd see all language. So here in all language, you can see line numbers. So check the box for line numbers. That would bring out all these lines. So it helps you maybe when you have error and it's starting to tell you, okay, your error check line this. So you can see a line 130, I get to know, okay, where my error is coming from. So insert into product values. So I'm going to see what the problem is. Why is it giving me error? So hold on, let me check. Don't want to really use because sometimes debugging the error can be a lot. So let me see. Oh, okay. So let me go back and see. So let's see. Let me first drop this. I'll drop this table. So I'll drop product, drop product, drop table, product. I've dropped it. Then I'm going to change this from. So let me execute this now and see. So let me try to add this in. It should not give me error because I have values now. Yeah. So we have this now. So all I had to do was just I increased it. The whole maybe I increased the whole this thing by 10 instead of 5. And that's why you're having the correct value now. So I'm going to just remove this drop table so it will not affect out. So now I have this table here for products. If I want to check all the data in that product, select all from product, So let's see, and I'll end my query. Then I'll run this, execute. So I have all these value here. So we're looking at aggregate functions. These are functions that use to perform aggregations on your data. So I showed us we have sum, count, average, that's AVG, max, min. So what if I want to count the number of products that we have? I want to count the number of products that we have in this table. So I would say first, what if I want to count the whole records? How many records? Let's assume I did not know. Without looking, here is 30 rows. But I want to count the number of records, the number of product ID records that we have. So I'll select count, then count of everything, shift 8 from product. So let me run this. I'm asking it to count everything in product. Execute. You can see it returned 30. So it counted all the records in that product table. But you'll notice something here. It's saying it's not giving a column name. That's because it performed an aggregation in the select statement. So who can tell me what I would do to change this from no column name to a column name I want it to have? Anybody? Who is there? Have you guys left me on the call? All right, Kodri, you want to help?
You can.
Would use what?
Good evening, ma.
Good
You
evening,
can
sir.
use as.
As. So we'd say
Yeah.
as. So let me use that as maybe total record. Let me just use total record. So when I run this now, it will change from no column name to the name I specified here in the alias. So I have total record. So what if I want to count, if I select all from products now, I only want to know the number of products that we have. If I want to know the number of products that we have, and I say select the count, select the count of what? Count of the product name. So something will happen and I'll ask us why. Product name. from, so let me just give this as total products, as total products. Then select count from where? From product. I'll end my query. If I run this, it's giving me 30 products. But are we sure we have exactly 30 products in that table? Because I'm saying that we have, if I'm not mistaken, that we have, let's see, do we have duplicates in the product? So let's see, we have duplicates in the product. I can see, let me see if you have duplicates. So I don't think we have duplicates in the product. But let's see. But what if I want to know if we have, I think we do. Do we? No, we don't have duplicates in the product. So let's see. What if I want to know the total category we have, excluding their duplicates? Count the number of category that we have, excluding their duplicates. How do I do that? Who wants to put me through? Anybody want to put me through?
So you use distinct count.
Thank you very much. Okay. So select what? You said distinct count? So now this, so here we'll use this.
You use distinct count.
Distinct count. Okay. So let's see. She said we'll use distinct count. Distinct count. Now in SQL Server here, we don't use that. This is what we'll use. Select count, then in brackets, distinct category. So what I'm saying is, first look for the distinct of the category field. Once you are done looking for the distinct there, count them. So I would say specify where it is coming from product. It doesn't like distinct count. It will not work. From product. And my query. What I'm saying here is, first look for the distinct of the category field. Then once you are done, count it. So if I should run this now and execute it, I'll get the data number that we have just 3 categories. How do I confirm that we get just 3? We have just 3 categories. Let's say select the distinct category from product. So I can run, let me run these 2 together now. I'm running these 2 queries, and so you see the 2 results. So you can see that we have, these are the categories that we have, which are 3: electronics, furniture, and home appliances. So it's correct that the count of all the category, excluding their duplicate, is just 3. So it's showing no column, so I have to alias this as total category, or number of category, anything. So let me run it again. So you can see this now. This is how you use the count. If you want to count either a particular values in a field, or you want to count all the whole record, you use the count. The next one I'm going to look at is, so here is for count. We'll look at sum. And what will sum do if you want to sum a field together? So let's run everything first. Select all from product. And I would say, okay, I'm selecting all from product. What do I want to see? Sum the unit price. So I'd come here and say sum. Select the sum. Sum of what? Sum of the unit price. So unit price, sum unit price. And I'll close my parentheses. Where is it coming from? From the product. From the product table. Then I will end my query. Don't forget, anytime you're performing any aggregation on any of the feed, make sure to alias it so that it would give it a column header, as because this is like a derived column. So I have to give my derived column in. So as total price. So I'll run this, execute it, and you can see our total price is around 9,520. The next thing I want to look at again is, let's see, I'm coming. Let's look at the average. So if I want to get average, AVG, so I'll say select AVG unit price. Don't forget that aggregation are performed on numerical fields. Unit price as AVG or average price. Let's say I want to call it average price. Average price. Where is it coming from? From product. From product. I'll end my query, then I'll run this, and we get the average price. What about max and min? Max is to get the maximum value in that unit price field. Min is to get the minimum value in that unit price field. So I would say for max, that's, I'll say select. I want to know the minimum price, then the maximum price. Select max, then wrap it. What should be the expression? And you can see it's telling that it returns int, the max of what? The unit price. So I'm saying check through the unit price column. Then once you are done checking it through the unit price column, give me the maximum value there. Max asks max price. Where is it coming from? From the product. You always have to specify where it's coming from, else it will not return any record for you. So I'm saying select the maximum unit price as max price from the product table. So I would highlight this and I would execute. This should give us the maximum price. If you want for minimum, the same thing. All I have to do is, let me just copy this query, Control C, paste it here. Let me just do min. And I'll change it from max to min. So I'm saying return the minimum price as min price from the table. So if I run this, it will give me the minimum price. So what if I want to see the total price for every of the category? Total price for every category. So I'm saying select what? Select, let's say select category, comma, and I want to see the total price for every category. Select category, then what? I want to see, so I'll say sum of what? Sum the unit price. Unit price as, I would alias that. Sum the unit price as what? So it's sum as total price. Okay, so as total price. Then what else? Where is it coming from? From the product. Now, if I run this, let's see what happens when I run this. Select and execute. So we have an error that says that product category is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. So anytime you are using SQL to retrieve data, and what you wanted to retrieve is combination of a feed that is not aggregated and a feed that is aggregated, you have to use the group by clause. So I'm saying that select category, then sum of the total price, because I want to see the total price based on each of the category. So I'll group this aggregation based on the category. So I'll say select category, comma, sum of the unit price as total price from products. Then I'll say group by. What are you grouping by? The field that is not aggregated. Category is the only field that is not aggregated. But this is a derived field. So I'll end my query and I'll run this. So we have total price for every of the category. So what if I have more than 2 categories that is not aggregated? Maybe I also have, as I have the category name. So let's see what else we have again. I think we have product name. So let me come here and I'll just type product name. We have product name, comma. So I'm not going to just, I would group by all the feeds, not just category alone. All the feeds are now aggregated. I will add them in here. So I'll say group by the product name as well, comma, the category. Then I'll run this. So you can see we have the product name, then the category, and we also have the total price. If you remember how we use the group by feature in Power Query to group our data, you know, we had the basic when you want to group based on a single field or a single column, and going to the advanced when you want to group based on more than one field, more than one column. So this is when you are grouping based on more than one column. The next thing, I know we are tired, but we'll be running off very soon, so don't worry. Now let's move to the next thing, which is the having clause. And what is this having clause? Let's say I want to find, okay, if I want to find the product name, or let me see, let's use category. So let me just use category and say, okay, let me put having here, having clause. So let's say I want to group based on the category. Select the category, comma, then let's say I want to see the count of products, all the products like in every of this category. Then I'll say count of what? I'm counting the product, either product name or product. Let me use product name. Count product name as total product. From where? From product. If I run this, okay, you can't run it. You have to use the group by because we have an aggregation in the select list. So if you have an aggregation in the select alongside a feed that is not aggregated, you have to use the group by clause. So group by the category. And I'll run this. So what if I want to see all the products, total products greater than 3? Because you can see we have 15, 3, and 12. I can't use the where statement, the where clause. I mean, I cannot use the where clause to filter this data because we are saying that filter based on the aggregation that you've created. Filter based on, because we are saying that I want to see all the category where the total product is greater than 3. It means we are working with the aggregation. I didn't mean is the main data itself. The where clause only filters the data from the record. But if you want to filter data based on aggregation that's been performed already, a derived table, you have to use the having clause. This is the reason why having clause was created. So I would come here and say, okay, having what? Having, so I'd come here and copy all this here. Count of the product name, Control C, bring it here. Having, Control V, greater than 3. So when I run this now, execute, it returns just 15 and 12. These are for products that for category where the total product is greater than 3. You use the having to filter aggregated columns. You use the where to filter data from your table. Please don't mix that up. You use the where. I can't use where here. If I come here and say, okay, I want to use where. If I try using where, let's see what is going to return error. If I say where, return where, I use where here, would have error. So incorrect syntax near the keyword where is not supposed to have. So we are not supposed to use the where. you should be having, because you use the having to filter grouped data. I don't know if you are still following. Are we still here? Is anybody still following me? Or I'm the only one in the class? Am I the only one in class who are still following me? All right. Okay. Are we tired? Are we tired?
Yes, we're exhausted already.
I know, right? I know we are tired. Okay, so should you just call it a day? So we'll not, or what do you think? We're supposed to end the class by 8.
Let's call it a day. Can we continue from next week?
Yes, we can. We can continue from next week. All right. So let's just end the class. All right. So in 5 minutes, I want to hear from us. So what did you pick from today's class? So everybody must say something. Everybody, before we wrap up the class. Okay. I saw you, Prince. Prince, can you share with us what you picked? Just in 1 minute, what you picked from the class?
Okay, so at least the first thing I learned is how to even install the SSMS.
Okay.
And how to create a database, which is the most important thing. Another key takeaway from me is also how to even import data from the CSV file. So in case you have it on Excel, you need to convert that, because I can't imagine sitting down and typing, over 1,000 or 10,000. So it's better if you have it somewhere, I can easily import it and then start manipulating the data.
Yeah.
And again, I also learned how to use the sum, the count, the distinct value, etc. So many functions which I may not remember, but at least I know how to do them. I believe at the end of the day I'll start practicing, because if I don't practice, it's definitely not gonna stick.
Definitely,
That's
you
my thing.
forget. All right. So thank you. Okay. So one more person. Adeyemi Adeniga, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay. So I think she's not there. Who wants to go next? Who wants to share what he or she picked in today's class? Then we'll call it a day. Okay, Anna.
All right, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Okay, Anna.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I'm here.
Okay, I can hear you, Adeyemi Adeniga. So can you share?
Hello, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me in the class?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Can anybody hear me?
Oh God. Yes, we can.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry about that. Oh, my network is lagging. That's why.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, I think my network is lagging. All right,
Okay.
let me just share. Okay, I learned how to create a database. I learned how to also create table, and also trying to select columns from a table, creating functions, aggregate functions, sorting functions like the order by and then the group by, also the use of wildcards, and also the use of the logical operator and the and the comparison operator. Yeah. All right. Let me allow some other persons to say something. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. Thank you. I think Anna, you wanted to say something. Anna, are you there? You wanted to say something, Anna? Okay, so if Anna is not there, one more person. Andrew, are you there? I'd like to hear from Andrew.
Yes.
All right,
Yes, I'm there.
all right. Can you share with us what you picked from today's class?
Okay, so briefly what I've been able to pick from today's class is we've been looking at SQL Server variant, somehow quite similar to MySQL, though with some differences.
Yeah.
So I've mainly learned creating a database, inserting a table into the database, adding data. You showed us how to add data, even from a CSV, which is convenient, because I wouldn't want to type a bulk of data into the system. So that was convenient. And then I also showed us how to query the database for specific information basing on different criteria, perform aggregations, and using logical operations to satisfy specific conditions as needed, as well as using patterns if I want to search basing on a custom pattern, which can really help me to search for something specific, narrowed down if that is something of my interest.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. So very quickly, before we'll call it a day. Once you are done, just Control S to save, and to tell you where you want to save it to. Then save it with the name of your choice, and hit enter. And that's all. So let's say I want to give it SQL query, and I'll call it Clique 1 to know that it's for our class. Clique 1, and I'll save this. So you can save it anywhere. Choose where to save it on your desktop, anywhere, but I'll leave it at where it is, where it was before. So I'll hit.
Let's say you want to save the results. You want to export the results.
Let's say you want to export what? Who said that? So I'll save
The
this now.
results.
Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to. So if you want to export the results, now you can just bring it in using you can bring your data in, draw it out using either bringing it in into Excel. You get the data from Excel. When we come back next week, I'll show us how to when you have your data that you clean that you want to bring it in, you can just create a view for it. Then you go to Excel and draw that data out from the database. So when we get there, I'll show you how you can draw that out. So click 1, save. So I've saved that now. So everybody, thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you, everybody. So let's have a wonderful night rest. Yeah. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.